to actually break that way of thinking and start to remold what it means to be a fashion designer or a creative director for the next gen. And what Virgil probably saw were elements of a new type of atypical language coming forth that he was, of course, already magnifying. It was more so I was identifying with that way of communication and identifying that there was a shift happening at that time. And as scholars, all of you have the capability and capacity to actually bring forward a new shift and a new slant to our industry, and that's what's really going to help. You could kind of say not just accelerate, because it's not really about the acceleration, it's more so about the slant of new ideation coming forth. You know, what people don't want to see is the safe option. People want to see the introspective, atypical, non-linear option, and that's what really changes things at a quicker pace, you could say.
And that's like, and just as for you guys, like the title of the talk is like building your brand sort of equity in your DNA. There's one of the first jewels, the things to take down notes of this talk is finding an inefficiency in the system. That's the door to walk through. You know, a lot of people ask, like, how do I do it? Like, how do I make a name for myself? How do I grow my brand? And it's a little bit like you're asking for the right steps to sort of like get popping. You know, like that's the underlying thing. Like, how can it make you more money, or how can you get more famous? Even if fame isn't your thing, you want to get traction. And what Samuel and I in our speak are saying, it's like that's not the door. You know, like people often fall down that. Like, hey, I want to be a designer. I want this to be my main job. I want to like stop working where I'm at, and etc. Finding inefficiencies in the landscape is what Samuel and I did. We were both like, hey, you know, for this like hyper intellectualized style of fashion design, you know, it's not even fashion that we're doing. On his Instagram, when I found him, I remember like, you need to actually pull this back up because I cite it all the time. He had like a yellow website with all black graphics on it that had skill set in everything else but fashion. And that's exactly what was on that website. Was that your portfolio?
Yeah, that was I had like 4 different aliases. So I was trying to almost be risk averse in how I presented myself as a creative director, filmmaker, streetwear artist, you know, graffiti artist simultaneously. And this website was almost like a hub to hold all of those proxy websites. It was bright yellow. It had, you know, Bauhaus, post-World War II industrial, sans serif graphics in the top left corner. But what really struck on the page was it was mixed media, you could say. I kind of taught myself Photoshop, Illustrator, everything on top of that from Premiere Pro, After Effects, Adobe Dreamweaver. This idea of being a multi-hyphenate was something that allowed me to move my career through the door quite quickly. And especially working with Virgil as, you know, the only assistant at that time, having a wider array of skills, all relevant to creative direction and all relevant to fashion, allowed us to produce more work at a higher velocity and frequency with less resources because we had a wider skill set.